real anomalies that forced researchers to rewrite science books. Before we dive into the mind-bending scientific anomalies that shattered everything scientists thought they knew about reality, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because what you're about to discover about real phenomena that forced entire fields of science to be rewritten will forever change how you see our universe. If these incredible discoveries blow your mind like they blew mine, drop that like button to help spread these reality-shattering truths. Science is supposed to be predictable. Theories are formulated, experiments are conducted, and results conform to established laws. But throughout history, researchers have encountered phenomena so impossible, so reality-defying, that entire textbooks had to be thrown out and rewritten from scratch. These aren't theoretical concepts or mathematical abstractions. These are documented, repeatable anomalies that forced the greatest minds in science to admit they fundamentally misunderstood the nature of reality itself. What makes these discoveries even more remarkable is that they were initially dismissed, ridiculed, or ignored by the scientific establishment. The researchers who reported them were often ostracized, their careers destroyed, their reputations ruined, until the evidence became so overwhelming that science had no choice but to admit its fundamental assumptions were wrong. These anomalies didn't just expand our knowledge, they exploded it. They revealed that the universe operates according to principles so strange, so counterintuitive, that even today's advanced physics struggles to explain them. From quantum mechanics that violates everything we know about causality, to biological discoveries that redefine what life itself means, to archaeological finds that shatter our understanding of human history. These anomalies represent the moments when reality itself forced science to evolve or become obsolete. The pattern is always the same: anomaly discovered, establishment denial, mounting evidence, paradigm collapse, science rewritten. But what's truly disturbing is how many current anomalies are being dismissed today, waiting for the scientific courage to acknowledge that once again, everything we think we know might be fundamentally wrong. The discovery that shattered the foundation of all physical science began innocuously enough in 1909 when physicist Thomas Young conducted the double-slit experiment. What seemed like a simple investigation into the nature of light revealed something so impossible that even today, over a century later, physicists still struggle to accept its implications. When particles were fired through two parallel slits, they created an interference pattern on the detection screen, behavior consistent with waves, not particles. But when scientists tried to observe which slit each particle went through, the wave pattern disappeared entirely, and the particles began behaving like discrete objects again. The act of observation was literally determining the fundamental nature of reality. This wasn't measurement error or experimental flaw. This was reality-breaking behavior that violated every principle of classical physics. Einstein himself spent decades trying to disprove what became known as the measurement problem, famously declaring that God does not play dice with the universe. But the universe, it seemed, didn't care about Einstein's preferences. The implications were staggering. Reality at the quantum level doesn't exist in any definite state until it's observed by conscious beings. Particles exist in superposition, simultaneously in all possible states, until the moment of observation collapses them into a single, definite reality. This meant consciousness wasn't just observing reality. It was creating reality through the act of observation. Dr. John Wheeler's delay choice experiments pushed this even further, proving that the decision to observe could be made after particles had already passed through the apparatus, meaning present moment consciousness could literally rewrite the past. These discoveries forced physicists to develop entirely new branches of science: quantum mechanics, quantum field theory, and quantum information theory, that operate according to principles that seem like magic to classical understanding. Modern experiments using quantum entanglement have shown that particles separated by vast distances instantly affect each other when observed, violating Einstein's speed of light limitations and suggesting that space itself might be an illusion created by limited perception. The scientific revolution triggered by quantum anomalies is still ongoing, with new discoveries regularly forcing physicists to question even their most basic assumptions about the nature of time, space, and causality. In 1976, microbiologist Carl Woese made a discovery so revolutionary that it didn't just change biology. It completely redefined what life itself means. While analyzing the genetic material of microorganisms living in extreme environments, he discovered an entirely new domain of life that operated according to principles science didn't know were possible. These organisms, called archaea, thrived in conditions that should have been instantly lethal: boiling acid, crushing deep ocean pressure, radiation levels that would sterilize any known life form. But they weren't just surviving, they were flourishing, using metabolic processes that had never been observed in any other living system. The discovery forced biologists to completely restructure the tree of life. Instead of two domains, bacteria and everything else, there were now three, with archaea representing a form of life so fundamentally different that it suggested life could exist under conditions previously thought impossible. This revelation opened up entirely new fields of astrobiology and extremophile research. But Woe's discovery was just the beginning. In 2010, NASA researcher Felisa Wolf-Simon announced the discovery of bacteria that incorporated arsenic into their DNA instead of phosphorus, something that every biochemistry textbook said was impossible. These organisms, found in California's Mono Lake, were literally rewriting the fundamental chemistry of life. Even more mind-bending was the 2016 discovery of organisms that could survive in the vacuum of space. Tardigrades, microscopic animals also called water bears, were found to withstand exposure to cosmic radiation, extreme temperatures, and the complete absence of water or atmosphere for extended periods. When rehydrated, they resumed normal biological functions as if nothing had happened. The implications were staggering. If life could exist under such extreme conditions, the possibilities for life throughout the universe expanded exponentially. Entire worlds previously considered sterile might harbor forms of life operating according to biological principles science had never imagined possible. Dr. Craig Venner's creation of the first synthetic life form in 2010 pushed biological anomalies even further. His team succeeded in creating a completely artificial organism with a manufactured genome, proving that the boundary between living and non-living matter was far more fluid than anyone had realized. This breakthrough forced biologists to completely redefine what constitutes life itself. In 1991, German tourists hiking in the Alps made a discovery that would force archaeologists to completely rewrite human prehistory. The frozen remains they found, later named Ötzi the Iceman, were initially assumed to be a recent climbing victim. Radiocarbon dating revealed the shocking truth. The body was 5,300 years old, making it the oldest naturally preserved human mummy ever discovered. But Ötzi wasn't just old, he was impossibly sophisticated. His copper axe demonstrated metallurgical techniques that weren't supposed to exist for another 1,000 years. His clothing showed textile technologies more advanced than anything found in contemporary archaeological sites. His medical condition revealed surgical procedures and pharmaceutical knowledge that contradicted everything archaeologists thought they knew about Neolithic capabilities. The discovery forced a complete revision of European prehistory, pushing back the dates for advanced metallurgy, complex textile production, and sophisticated medical knowledge by centuries. Entire university textbooks had to be rewritten to accommodate evidence that contradicted established chronologies. But Ötzi was just the beginning of archaeological anomalies that shattered historical understanding. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey revealed a megalithic complex dated to 11,500 years ago, 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and constructed before agriculture was supposed to exist. The site's sophisticated astronomical alignments and precision engineering suggested organizational capabilities and technical knowledge that contradicted everything archaeologists believed about prehistoric human societies. Even more disturbing was the discovery of the London hammer in 1936, a 19th century tool found embedded in 400-million-year-old rock formations. While skeptics questioned the dating methodology, similar out-of-place artifacts continued to surface. The Koso artifact, a spark plug found in 500,000-year-old rock. The Klarksdorp spheres, manufactured metal spheres in 3-billion-year-old formations. And the Ayad wedge, an aluminum object in 250,000-year-old sediments. The Baghdad battery, discovered in 1938, consisted of clay jars containing copper cylinders and iron rods that, when filled with acid, generated electrical current. dating to 250 BCE. These devices preceded the official invention of the battery by over 2,000 years, suggesting ancient civilizations possessed electrical knowledge that mainstream archaeology refused to acknowledge. Dr. Michael Cremo's compilation of anomalous archaeological evidence documents hundreds of similar discoveries that contradict established historical timelines. His research suggests that either human civilization is far older than officially acknowledged, or unknown advanced civilizations existed alongside primitive human societies, possibilities that force fundamental reconsideration of human origins and development. In 1995, Brazilian surgeon Dr. Rubens Faria encountered a patient whose condition forced medical science to completely rewrite its understanding of human physiology. The patient, who had suffered massive brain trauma in an accident, was missing over 80% of his brain tissue, yet demonstrated completely normal cognitive function, memory, and personality. This case wasn't unique. Dr. John Lorber's research at Sheffield University documented dozens of patients with severe hydrocephalus who had virtually no brain tissue, yet maintained normal intelligence. His most famous case involved a mathematics student with an IQ of 126, whose brain scan revealed his skull was almost entirely filled with cerebrospinal fluid, with only a thin layer of brain tissue around the edges. These discoveries shattered the fundamental assumption that consciousness is produced by brain tissue. If people could function normally with minimal brain matter, then either consciousness operated according to principles science didn't understand, or the brain's role in generating awareness was fundamentally different than medical textbooks claimed. The phenomenon of terminal lucidity provided even more disturbing evidence that consciousness operates independently of brain function. Dr. Michael Nam's research documented thousands of cases where patients with severe dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or brain tumors suddenly regained complete mental clarity in the hours or days before death. These patients, whose brains showed extensive damage, would engage in meaningful conversations, recognize family members, and demonstrate cognitive abilities that should have been impossible given their neurological condition. Even more anomalous were cases of acquired savant syndrome, where brain injuries resulted in sudden development of extraordinary abilities. Jason Paget developed remarkable mathematical visualization abilities after concussion, becoming able to see complex geometric patterns in everyday objects. Derek Amato gained exceptional musical abilities after a brain injury, despite having no previous musical training or interest. These cases forced neurologists to completely revise their understanding of brain plasticity and consciousness. The discoveries led to new fields of research in consciousness studies and suggested that human cognitive potential might be far greater than previously imagined. Dr. Pim van Lommel's research into near-death experiences during cardiac arrest revealed another medical anomaly that challenged scientific understanding. Patients who were clinically dead, no heartbeat, no brain activity, no measurable consciousness, reported detailed, verifiable perceptions of events occurring around their bodies during the resuscitation process. In 1998, two independent research teams studying distant supernovae made a discovery so shocking that it won the Nobel Prize in Physics and forced cosmologists to completely rewrite their understanding of the universe. The universe wasn't just expanding, it was accelerating its expansion at an increasing rate. This discovery was impossible according to existing cosmological models. Gravity should have been slowing the expansion, not speeding it up. To explain the observations, scientists were forced to invent dark energy, a mysterious force that comprises 68% of the universe but has never been directly detected or understood. The implications were staggering. The vast majority of the universe consisted of something science knew nothing about. Everything visible, all stars, planets, and galaxies, represented only 5% of cosmic reality. The remaining 27% was attributed to dark matter, another invisible, undetectable substance required to explain gravitational anomalies in galactic rotation. Essentially, 95% of the universe had to be composed of unknown, invisible substances to make astronomical observations match theoretical predictions. This forced cosmologists to admit they fundamentally misunderstood the nature of cosmic reality. The anomaly known as the axis of evil provided another reality-shattering discovery. Analysis of the cosmic microwave background revealed that the universe's fundamental structure was aligned in a specific direction, contradicting the cosmological principle that space should be homogeneous and isotropic on large scales. This alignment suggested the universe might have a preferred direction or structure that violated fundamental assumptions about cosmic symmetry. Tabby star KIC 846-2852 presented astronomers with behavior so anomalous that it forced consideration of possibilities science had never seriously entertained. The star's brightness dimmed by up to 22% in irregular patterns that couldn't be explained by any known astronomical phenomenon. The dimming events were too large and complex for planetary transits, too irregular for stellar pulsation, and too structured for interstellar dust clouds. Dr. Jason Wright of Pennsylvania State University suggested that the observations might indicate the presence of artificially constructed megastructures around the star, technology built by advanced civilizations to harness stellar energy. While natural explanations continued to be sought, the anomaly forced astronomers to develop new theoretical frameworks for detecting signs of technological civilizations. The Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research (PARE) laboratory, operating from 1979 to 2007, documented the most comprehensive evidence for consciousness-matter interaction ever compiled. Under rigorous scientific protocols, researchers demonstrated that human intention could statistically influence the behavior of electronic random number generators, mechanical devices, and quantum systems. Over 28 years of research involving millions of trials, PARE documented consistent statistical deviations that were billions to 1 against chance occurrence. The results showed that focused human consciousness could subtly but measurably alter the behavior of physical systems, violating fundamental assumptions about the separation between mind and matter. Dr. Robert John, former dean of engineering at Princeton, concluded that consciousness and physical reality were far more interconnected than classical physics assumed. The research forced development of entirely new theoretical frameworks attempting to explain how intention could influence probability at the quantum level. The Global Consciousness Project, initiated by Dr. Roger Nelson, expanded this research to global scales. A network of random number generators around the world began showing statistically significant correlations during major global events: the 9/11 attacks, the 2004 tsunami, and other moments of collective human focus or trauma. The implications were profound. Human consciousness might operate as a global field that could influence physical systems worldwide during moments of collective attention or emotion. These discoveries suggested that consciousness wasn't confined to individual brains, but operated as a distributed phenomenon with measurable effects on physical reality. Dr. Dean Radin's research into presentiment documented another consciousness anomaly that challenged conventional understanding of time and causality. Subjects connected to physiological monitoring equipment showed measurable stress responses seconds before being shown disturbing images. Their bodies were reacting to future events before their conscious minds could perceive them. In 2013, geneticist Dr. Eugene Koenen made a discovery that forced evolutionary biologists to completely reconsider their understanding of genetic inheritance. Analysis of viral genomes revealed genetic sequences that appeared to violate the fundamental principle that DNA information flows from parent to offspring through generational inheritance. These viral genomes contain genetic information that appeared to have been acquired from future evolutionary states. Genetic sequences that logically should have developed millions of years later, but were present in ancient viral samples. The discovery suggested that genetic information might not be confined to linear temporal inheritance, but could somehow be accessed from future evolutionary possibilities. The phenomenon of genetic anticipation provided another anomaly that challenged evolutionary understanding. Certain genetic conditions were found to become more severe or manifest earlier in successive generations, as if the genetic code was somehow anticipating future expression patterns and modifying itself accordingly. Dr. Eva Jablonka's research into epigenetic inheritance revealed that environmental influences could create genetic changes that were passed to offspring without altering the underlying DNA sequence. These discoveries showed that evolution could respond to environmental pressures much more rapidly than traditional genetic mechanisms allowed, forcing biologists to expand their understanding of hereditary processes. The discovery of horizontal gene transfer between unrelated species provided another genetic anomaly that rewrote evolutionary textbooks. Bacteria, plants, and even animals were found to exchange genetic material directly, bypassing traditional reproductive inheritance and allowing rapid acquisition of new capabilities. Every one of these anomalies followed the same pattern: initial discovery, establishment ridicule, mounting evidence, grudging acceptance, and finally complete paradigm restructuring. The scientists who first reported these phenomena were often ostracized, their careers damaged, their reputations destroyed, until the evidence became so overwhelming that science had no choice but to acknowledge reality had been more complex than their theories assumed. What's most disturbing is recognizing this pattern repeating today. Current anomalies in consciousness research, advanced physics, and anomalous phenomena are being dismissed with the same institutional resistance that once rejected quantum mechanics, continental drift, and bacterial causes of disease. The history of science isn't a steady march toward truth. It's a series of catastrophic paradigm collapses where established knowledge is revealed to be fundamental misunderstanding. Every generation of scientists believes they finally understand reality, only to have that understanding shattered by anomalies that reveal deeper layers of cosmic mystery. Today's anomalies may be tomorrow's textbook science. Research into consciousness, psi phenomena, advanced physics, and anomalous archaeological evidence continues to accumulate data that challenges current scientific paradigms. The question isn't whether these paradigms will eventually collapse. History suggests they inevitably will, but whether current scientists will have the courage to abandon their cherished theories when faced with contradictory evidence. The anomalies that force past scientific revolutions teach us that reality is always stranger, more complex, and more mysterious than our current understanding suggests. The universe doesn't care about our theoretical preferences or institutional investments. It simply continues revealing layer after layer of impossibility that forces us to expand our conception of what's possible. Every anomaly that has ever forced science to rewrite its textbooks began as something impossible, ridiculous, and unacceptable to established thinking. Today's impossible anomalies may be signaling the next great scientific revolution, one that could transform human understanding even more dramatically than the quantum revolution transformed classical physics. The evidence is undeniable. Throughout history, reality has consistently proven stranger than science imagined. From quantum consciousness to biological impossibilities, from archaeological mysteries to astronomical anomalies, the universe keeps revealing phenomena that force complete revision of scientific understanding. These weren't just expansions of knowledge, they were explosions that shattered entire worldviews. Don't let the next paradigm shift catch you unprepared. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and share this video with everyone who needs to understand that the most impossible discoveries of today might become the accepted science of tomorrow.